Sci-Fi for Me is about to take you on an incredible journey into the realms of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Interviews with writers, filmmakers, artists, and actors. Conventions and fandom. Previews and reviews of movies and television. Sci-Fi for Me is working to be the most popular science fiction magazine in the solar system. Subscribe now and enter the fantastic world of Sci-Fi for Me, delivering the multiverse since 2009.
I can always count. I can always count on Sci-Fi Snob to come through in a pinch there. Welcome, everyone. Here we go. 250. 200. No, not 250. 450. What am I talking about? 450. Let me get this thing. Let me see if we get this thing working here. There it is. It's always something. And apparently we've got an audio issue over at Odyssey. Tom is looking into it. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea, conversationalists across the fruited plain, princes of the universe, and captains courageous. And we do need some courage these days, do we not? And everybody else who is along for the ride, welcome. Glad to have you. We are broadcasting live to Facebook, Odyssey, YouTube, and Odyssey has just done a new live stream update, and that could be part of what we're running into here. I don't know. But new features, new hyper chat colors, and you can reply to other chats and emojis and all sorts of stuff there. So you can check that out. Now, remember, you have to have a channel on Odyssey in order to participate in the live chat. But I think all you have to do is sign up as a user to be able to comment, I think. So Tom can check me on that. So yeah, here we are. We're live. We're also available as a podcast. Want to give a shout out to our various listeners around the world: Spain, Portugal, Italy, Poland, Russia. I've seen New Zealand. I've seen Japan. I've seen Canada. So happy to have all of you with us. If you are not with us live, you can still leave a comment. You can send us an email, livefromthebunker at sci-fi4me.com. Send us your feedback, send us your suggestions for topics and guests and such. So there is that. Robert says our new opening threw him. What opening? It's the same opening that we've had for the show. Are you talking about the new graphics in the show? I don't know. All right. So, this is not. Well, oh, I get it. Yes, there was a promo. Okay, I get you. Yeah, we lead with a few promos because if anybody is watching us live, whenever we start to broadcast, whenever you go in and start talking, whenever you go in to start watching something, Google will drop ads in the front. So we've put our own promos at the beginning of the shows in order to kind of weave through that and make sure that anybody who's joining the show after we start streaming, they don't necessarily miss anything. We're always looking out for you guys. That's what we do. All right, so here I am in my Starlog t-shirt, and it is number 450. And I've been sitting here for a week trying to figure out, okay, what do we do for this? What do we do? Because it's kind of a milestone. It's sort of a heavy hitter for us. We're on our way to 500 at some point, and so I'm thinking, okay, well, this is kind of a special event. Not really, but it kind of is. So do we do anything special? I think, we could do an open mic, we could do an Ask Me Anything, we could do an office dog relaxing stream, or chill stream, or whatever. But then I thought, we probably just do a normal day at the office, because there's still stuff to talk about, and people are blowing a gasket over this stuff. We'll see. But I need to do this one thing first, and Mrs. Boss, you're gonna have to weigh in on this one, because this is. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Because this is not. Where'd you go? Are you? Your mic just died. There it is.
There it is.
There it
Sorry.
is. So okay. So I'm not sure how to approach this. This is something that came across my feed of Twitter earlier today, and it's, well, I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off and show people here. This showed up in Twitter. Somebody out there has decided to create this abomination. This is an Oreo cookie with a slice of pepperoni in it. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Well, I'm kind of sure what I feel about this. A pepperoni Oreo.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, here's something that we have to establish here for the folks at home. And Snob, to answer your question, well, why is that showing Good Morning Multiverse as the animation? What is that? Oh, I know what I did. I had the wrong. I got, because I used this to record an interview the other day. So, but yeah, there's that. And to answer Snob's question, Mrs. Boss is in our bunker down here. She's just in a different part of it. She's back in that corner over there. She's back over there behind me. So, but yeah, okay. So for the folks at home, whenever I make a pizza, it's generally going to be a pepperoni pizza.
Generally, it's the only pizza
it's the only kind of pizza I make. So I make a pepperoni pizza, and I add to it because you get the frozen pizza. It's got its own layers of things. So I go ahead and add more pepperoni, just cover the whole thing up on the top. And I have now learned and have developed the part of the process where I have to add what I call the thievery layer. And I have to have a thievery layer because somebody walks through and picks,
pineapple is fine,
and
thank
picks
you.
pieces of pepperoni off of my pizza. So I've gotten to the point where I have to make a thief layer for the thief.
No clue who you're talking about there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, pepperoni Oreos, not for me. Pineapple on pizza, not for me.
Pineapple
Mrs.
on pizza is perfectly fine.
No.
I'm seriously trying to picture having the pepperoni in with the Oreo. Now, it looks like the pepperoni that they've put in there is
It looks like a
raw.
thick slice Hormel.
Yeah, but it's not cooked. And by the way, Mr. Boss does make his pizzas. If it's not burnt, it's not cooked right. I've gotten to liking burnt pizza because of him. But anyway, sorry, snob. It happens. Now, normally, sweet and spicy works because I like having jalapeno and pineapple on my pizza. And you look at other foods, it works. Now, in this situation, you've got extremely sweet, and depending on your pepperoni, you know, how flavorful it is. People do prosciutto, yeah, right? And melon as a mixture, but that's also it works. It's kind of blah, in my opinion. I like a little more kick to my meat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking here, they do have, you think about it, there are donuts that have bacon on it, a maple bacon. When you think about your breakfast, you mix in, if you've got pancakes or something. Hold on. I'm still thinking here. Now, we are adding chocolate. However,
Hi, Stephanie.
Chocolate does work with meats and spicy. Look at chili. There are people who will put chocolate chips into the chili to enhance it. White chocolate for chicken type chilies, or, a regular brown chocolate, depending on how you like it, in your beef chilies. So I could see it happening. And I'm it's one of those, if I ate sugar like that, I would actually go upstairs and try that. You know what?
No.
Be right back.
No, what? No.
Come on, let's just do it. We're live.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not saying you will.
No.
Dude, you have one. Okay, you could literally get a spinner wheel like in Vegas when they spin it for win the money, and put every meal on there and spin it. Fill it, seriously, fill it up. You have this minor thing of food that you eat.
Anyway, on to our topic for the day.
I'll be back.
She's threatening me now with a good time. All right, so Warner Brothers Discovery has been in the news of late because of all of the different decisions and whatnot that David Zaslav, the CEO, has been making, and various other people there in charge. Fries and nuggies. I don't call them nuggies, but I don't remember the last time I had a chicken nugget. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember the last time I went to McDonald's. I did have Sonic yesterday, but I don't remember the last time I went to a McDonald's. I may have to Scooby-Doo that and see when the last time I went. It's been years. It's probably since my kid was a kid. So Warner Brothers Discovery has been on a tear. David Zaslav being called Zaslav the Butcher in private discussion threads, because of the cuts that he's been making over there and the decisions that he's making. It started with the cancellation of Batgirl and the Scoob sequel, and has just continued to spiral out. We've got shows of the CW. Well, before that, we had cancellations of the CW shows. We've had various different projects that were in development and pre-production get axed, like Sasha Calle's Supergirl project. There have been questions whether or not the Flash was going to move forward, and it does look like, so far at least, it looks like that's going to be still a thing, because Ezra Miller is now getting professional mental health, and maybe ends up being better for it at the end of all of this. But then we get the word that Warner Brothers is slashing a lot of animated projects. This is Cartoon Brew. Warner Brothers Discovery has unceremoniously announced that it will be dropping a large number of titles from its HBO Max streaming service this week. The company provided no logical reason for why it's purging its animation catalog. In total, 37 titles, 25 of them animation, including several Max originals, are on the cutting block. Here are all the animation titles being removed from the service. Aquaman, King of Atlantis, which is not going to be any kind of a loss at all. Close Enough, Dodo, Elliot from Earth, Esme and Roy. I haven't even heard of any of these. Infinity Train is the one that's getting a lot of traffic. A lot of people are talking about Infinity Train. Yeah, it's noisy. Infinity Train is getting a lot of reaction. Little Ellen, Mau Mau, Heroes of Pure Heart. I think that's the Ninja Cat one. Messi Goes to Aikido, Mia's Magic Playground, Mighty Magiswords, My Dinner with Hervé, Odo, OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, The Ollie and Moon Show, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, select Sesame Street episodes. I wonder which ones. Squish, Summer Camp Island, The Runaway Bunny, Tig and Seek, Uncle Grandpa, Victor and Valentino, Yabba Dabba Dinosaurs. In a brief release, Warner Brothers Discovery gave this explanation. As we work toward bringing our content catalogs together under one platform, we will be making changes to the content offering available on both HBO Max and Discovery Plus. That will include the removal of some content from both platforms. At the same time, we're already starting to bring our content catalogs together, like the launch of the new CNN Originals Hub on Discovery Plus and a curated collection of Magnolia Network content coming soon to HBO Max. No further details have been offered about why these specific titles were cut or any future plans for the removed series. Cartoon Brew has reached out to Warner Brothers Discovery for comment, but not immediately received any response. There is speculation that Warner might auction off some of these shows to other platforms, as I've hinted at the possibility during the second quarter earnings call. And that's where I want to get to for this, because, you know, as much as you can discuss however much, the changes and the cuts and everything else, I remind you all that there was an interview that Zaslav did a number of months ago where he talked specifically about their streaming strategy and said, we're not going to spend gobs of money on the streaming wars. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I don't think that as high up in the C-suite that he is, he's probably not saying gobs of money. But he's looking at the cost of this stuff, and he's sitting there saying, we're not going to outspend just to have the top performing streaming platform. It doesn't make financial sense. And then when Batgirl got canceled, that was a tax related thing, I'm sure. I mean, it does also happen to coincide with, we have a person of, it's another ginger-sided character. You have a person of color playing Barbara Gordon. And look, she may very well be an extremely talented performer. No, I've never seen her in anything, so I don't know. But if you're doing something that has source material, then you should be faithful to the source material. That's my thinking on it. I'm not going to expect Marvel Comics or Marvel Studios to come in and get get Ryan Reynolds to play Black Panther. You just don't do it. I mean, it's okay to go one way, but it needs to be not okay anyway. This from TV Line, Batman series Urkel holiday movie among animated projects not moving forward at HBO Max will be shopped. This is August 22nd, so this is 2 days ago when this article came out. Now, a piece of this headline has gone missing from the social media discourse. And I want to make sure that people understand that particular aspect of this, because the reactions online have been, oh, Zaslav's slashing everything, everything's been canceled, and what are we going to do, and woe is me, and all of this. Batman Caped Crusader, which is the animated picture, the animated series that was coming from Bruce Timm of Batman the Animated Series, right? 15 months ago, received a series order from HBO Max and Cartoon Network, is among 6 animated projects that are no longer being produced for HBO Max, sources confirmed for TV Line. TV Line hears that all 6 projects, mostly from Warner Brothers Animation, will continue production while they are shopped to other outlets. This news, of course, comes amid numerous programming changes at an in-transition HBO Max, where some projects are being nixed and others that already stream on the service are being not so quietly removed. And as TV Line previously reported, there will be no 5th season of Young Justice, since HBO Max had only ordered 1 season of the superhero team-up series, and that original plan remains unchanged. So, yes, Hex Allen, you did hear the word.
Hey guys, that girl.
Don't do that. If you own a website, if you run a website, if you design a website, don't put auto load on, folks, please. So we've got. Let me go through here and look. There was it's an animated piece. It's called "Did I Do That to the Holidays?" A Steve Urkel story. So that. And look, everybody is complaining, oh, they cancel them. They didn't cancel them. They're just not going to be making them specifically for HBO Max. And I can understand why. Because money. Keely says, congratulations on 450 episodes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you go back to the second quarter earnings call. Zaslav made it very clear, and the other guys, the vice president that was there, Sheffield, I think is his name, and then the finance guy, the vice president of finance, the chief financial officer, they were all there, and they made it very clear that right now we're looking at the bottom line. We're looking at what everything costs and how to bring those costs down. Because when Warner Brothers Discovery became a thing, they acquired $43 billion in debt. So this is money that's already been spent by AT&T, Legacy Warner Media is what they've been calling it. It's a completely different business entity, but the debt carries over to the new corporation, the new deal. So they got to get rid of get rid of $43 billion of debt. And that's billions with a Carl Sagan B, billions of dollars. $43 billion. How do we get rid of that expense? So let me give you a for instance. Let me see, because $43 billion is really difficult to wrap your head around for some people. It's a number, but it's an abstract. Okay. Let me give you this scenario. Let's say that you're dating someone and it's going really well, and you're going out all the time, and you're going to see, you're going to the movies, you're going to concerts, you're going to the theater, you go out for steak dinner, you're spending, $50, $60, $100 a pop on a date, maybe go to, maybe go to the gun range. Who knows? Whatever your date night is. I mean, for us, it's a trip to Home Depot. But there's various different ways that you go out. You have your good time. Maybe you go traveling for a weekend. You get an Airbnb somewhere. You go hotel expense or what. All of this stuff. This all costs money, and you're dating, and it's really great, and you're spending all this money. Now, as it gets more serious, and as you sit there and say, maybe this is somebody that I want to get married to. I want to hitch my wagon to this person, and we're going to go full time on this thing. You start discussing your finances. You'd better, before you get married. Don't ask me how I know that. So you now have the conversation where you're sitting there saying, hey, okay, how much are we going to be doing here in terms of what we're going to owe? Credit card debt, student loan debt, house, mortgage and car payments and all this, because you gotta have a family household budget, right? So let's say you get into this thing, and you and your partner, you and your spouse, your significant other, you cohabitate, you get into the same household, and one of you has $43,000 in school debt, or $43,000 in credit card debt, or $43,000 in some kind of a debt you owe somewhere. This is now something that both of you have to service. You both have to service the debt. The new business entity, the new model, this new household, absorbs and assumes that debt. So now you got to pay that off somehow, right? You're responsible for that. For me, here, when Minnie and I got married, I brought my student loan debt with me. Right now, it's currently sitting at about $41,000. My first marriage, when I got into that, I had a lot of credit card debt. A lot of credit card debt that she didn't know about. That did not go well. So you have this new organization that has to service the obligations of the previous organizations. And now let's say, okay, you're married, and now you have this $43,000 debt, this $43,000 bill that you've got to pay. Then how do you do that? Because you can't just print money. You can't just write a check. There has to be some way of actually covering these payments, right? So you look and you say, and we've got data out there that people are doing this now. You have people that are reevaluating where they spend their money. Am I going to spend my money on $45 steaks? Am I going to, go out to, the concerts and the theater and everything else? Not so much. You start reallocating your resources because you have a job, you have an income, and that's a limited fixed amount. However much money you've got coming in is what you've got to spend on all of the stuff that you're doing, whether it's utility bills, cable bills, streaming channels, and now this debt. Warner Brothers Discovery is facing the same kind of thing. We've got this new, Cab, what is this foolish financial responsibility? It's even worse for corporations because you get this thing called fiduciary responsibility, a fiduciary obligation, and yes, everybody has some debt somewhere, right? I'll say it that way. There's a fiduciary duty in corporations to do everything they can, everything possible, in order to maximize profit for the shareholders. That's a requirement. That's an obligation. It's one of the things that's been discussed with this whole Elon Musk Twitter thing, is the fact that the shareholders ultimately are the ones that everybody's got to be thinking about in terms of how much money we make. Because I'm making this money for the shareholders. So in order to do that, you have to rearrange the formula so that more money is coming in than going out. It's just like you get married, you figure out you've got debt, suddenly you have these bills to pay, whether it's insurance, hospital, whatever. So somebody takes a second job or a third job, or you work overtime, or different ways that you bring in more income. You have to bring in more money so you can service that debt. And Zaslav made it very clear in the second quarter earnings call that that's exactly what they're going to be doing with all of this stuff, because Warner Brothers is going to be making a product, and I hate to use that word. They're going to make content, television, movies, cartoon, video games, all of this stuff. And he sits there and says, why limit ourselves to just one channel of distribution? If it makes more sense financially, then this widget is going to be sold over here. And if it makes sense financially for us to keep it in-house and put it on HBO Max, then that widget stays on HBO Max. But if we see an opportunity where we can take something like an animated Batman series and sell it, license it, make money off of it to offset our cost. Because if Warner Brothers Discovery makes this TV series and Warner Brothers Discovery puts that TV series on HBO Max, they're not making any extra money, because Warner Brothers could pay HBO Max for it, or HBO Max could pay Warner Brothers for it, but that's just money shifting divisions inside the house. That's me pulling money out from under the mattress in the bedroom, in the master bedroom, and taking it and putting it under the couch cushion. That doesn't do any good. That doesn't increase your income. What you got to do is you've got to have somebody else from outside the Warner Brothers Discovery group paying for this, paying for the rights to distribute that product. So if it's Paramount Plus, or if it's Apple, or if it's Netflix, or wherever it makes sense, you're going to sit there and say, okay, give me the money. I'll let you have this cartoon. And Zaslav is looking at income to pay off the debt. Snob says, I hear the couch pays more interest. I know a few couches that could tell some stories if they paid attention and showed interest, but that's not this kind of show. So anyway, all right. So that's from a business standpoint. I can completely understand why Zaslav would sit there and say, we're not going to make these exclusive to HBO Max, because they don't make any money doing it that way. And we have $43 billion in debt. Now, in that second quarter earnings call, they did say that we already have identified X and so number of ways and things that we can do to bring to chop $6 billion off of that. So, okay, now they're at $37 billion. But the way this thing is being portrayed in the media, and the way this thing is being handled on social media, it just, people are just blowing a gasket over this stuff. And it's very clear that these armchair quarterbacks have no idea at all what they're talking about, because it just doesn't make any sense. And it's not just the animated stuff. I need to see if I can find it, because I just saw it the other day. We're looking at the stuff for, what's going on over at CNN, which is also owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. You've got the question of the ad tiers, the ad supported version of these things, which apparently is not going to be as profitable as everybody first expected. Culture Casino's got a video on that this morning. So the prices are going up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more for your money. It just means prices are going up, like Dave mentions. But then you also have here, in the midst of all of this restructuring, you also have executives over at Oprah's network getting laid off. Four corporate executives being laid off over there. So it's not just the animated stuff. It's where are we losing money? And that also includes DC Comics. Wes over at Thinking Critical got a video out over the weekend. He's got people telling him, because eventually everybody was saying, eventually Zaslav's got to come around and look at DC Comics. When is he going to look at DC Comics? Well, apparently it's already happened. According to Wes and his sources inside the machine, he's got somebody who's in accounting who apparently knows some people in accounting over at Warner's. Somebody in management higher up, not necessarily Zaslav, but somebody over there at Warner Brothers Discovery has contacted the folks what in charge at DC Comics and have said, give us your financials, show us your sales records, show us your numbers. And of course, editors was like, well, how far back do we need to go? Because we've got about 30 years of data probably in sales. So let's take a look, shall we? And I don't think it's any coincidence that we've got 2 titles coming from Jeff Johns at DC Comics now. Because Jeff Johns, whatever anybody says about him or thinks about him or whatever Ray Fisher says about him, Jeff Johns sells books. Jeff Johns is an excellent comic book writer. He's a recognizable name. Jeff Johns is going to sell a whole lot more books than Vita Ayala will. Or Mags Visaggio. Mags can keep going and doing the tarot card readings, and that's fine. The talent, like Perch was saying the other day, you throw a bunch of money into it and attract better talent, you make a better product, and people are going to want to buy it. Jeff Johns will sell books. Nothing in DC Comics' current lineup has been in the top 100 for sales in a while. That includes the Batman stuff. If I understand that right. I might have that wrong. But DC has not been a contender. They're losing money because you've got people like Tom King who are writing Drek. Tom King was in the CIA, by the way, as he likes to remind us. Or you have these nothing burger events. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths is the new thing that's going on right now. Nobody's buying that. But from what Wes was saying, the corporate guys at Warner Brothers Discovery are already looking at DC Comics, and it's entirely possible that one of 2 things could happen. Either they clean house and fire everybody, including Jim Lee, or they cut back and do it gradually and get rid of certain, by attrition. As your contract goes out, we're not going to renew your contract, and we cut down on the line. Or they sell DC Comics altogether. Or they license DC Comics so that other people can print and write and publish Batman stories and Wonder Woman stories, kind of like the deal that Marvel set up with IDW, which didn't really sell all that well anyway. Because, again, it goes back to, if your product is no good and nobody's buying it, it's not going to matter who's making it. Whether it's DC doing it, or if it's Boom Studios doing it, or IDW, or Marvel, or whoever. If you've got people in the creative process who are not delivering the goods, People don't show up. And they sit there and go, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this. Gabby Rivera threatened me with a baseball bat online. I don't want to have anything to do with anything written by Gabby Rivera. That's where we are. And Zaslav is one of those people who understands that you're making a widget. The widget needs to appeal to the broadest general market. How many people will buy this widget? You don't limit yourself and sit there and say, well, if you don't want my widget, then you're a bigot. You don't insult your customer base. And yeah, Robert mentioned it earlier in the chat. It doesn't look like he's a Republican or a conservative. He's not. He's a capitalist. He's in for the money. And I think it was Neon that posted over the weekend his political donations have not been to Republicans. You can't look at this through the prism and the filter of politics. This is profit and loss. And right now, Warner Brothers Discovery has a lot of loss, and they've got to plug all of the leaky holes in the boat before it sinks. It may be too late, but if they cut out all of the dead wood, they cut the fat, and they get rid of all of the people who are not producing, maybe there's a chance to save it, and maybe that means that they keep DC Comics. Maybe DC Comics doesn't go bankrupt or go away altogether, because that's a possibility at some point, maybe. What about makes a point about Ezra Miller? I don't think, and this is me on the outside looking in. I don't think that the Ezra Miller thing is that easy. I think Zaza, again, this comes down to money. How much money have we put into this project? This is not something that they can write off as easily as they can write off Batgirl. They just can't. It's on a completely different scale. And I would imagine that some of that is driven by contracts, because if you're making a movie for HBO Max, that's specifically this little 2.5 movie for a streaming service, and nobody's going to watch it, and you're only 90 million in, that's a whole lot different from theatrical motion picture with all sorts of things written into the contract with regard to residuals and points and back-end stuff and participation and all this other stuff. So it could very well be that they're over a barrel with the Flash. We have to be able to release this somehow so we don't get dragged into court for breach of contract on all of these actors and performers and directors and producers and everything else. I think they're obligated at this point to get that movie out, which is why Ezra Miller is going to seek help, because reasons. It doesn't have a lot to do. It's not just about the money, but for Zaslav, it's about the money more than anything else. Yes, Ezra Miller needs help. And yes, Ezra Miller needs to suffer the consequences of his actions and choices. And if, we'll be fair, all of this stuff is alleged accusations that have been printed up in the media. If he's guilty of a crime, he needs to suffer the consequences for that. Absolutely, no question. And we need somebody else playing Barry Allen. And all of the rumors point to that being the case. This is Ezra Miller's last time playing the Flash. But they are so deep into this, because this movie is $250 million in 7 years of development. This thing's got to go out. There's so much expense tied up in this thing. They have to get it. They have to put it out somehow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What do you... yes.
I'm willing to sacrifice to try this.
You're willing to sacrifice to try what?
Pepperoni on Oreo.
You're actually gonna do that? Okay. Well, why don't you get into your shot there a little bit more? I will let you have the floor there, folks. There's.
Now, I did because the picture had a lot. It's not as skinny as one little slice, so I put a few slices in there. Is that okay?
It looked like from the picture. It looked like maybe you have the equivalent of 2 of those.
2 of those? Okay.
That's
okay.
what it looked like there, maybe.
So something more like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Not that it matters to me, but
Well, now I got to get this Oreo split properly because up. There you go.
did it come clean? All right. Hey, there we go. There we go.
go.
All right. See now what about is saying don't do it, don't do it. This is why I'm letting her do it, not me. There's no way that I'm going to be doing this.
Okay, guys.
So.
Well, you also know I eat weird things.
Yes, you do. This is the woman.
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, folks. This is the woman who actually we sat down one time and found a burger joint open late. It was one of the very few places we could go, and the burger that she got had an egg and peanut butter on it.
It also had sriracha and stuff like that. It was like having pad thai.
So do this, and then
And it wasn't a lot of peanut butter. They just had a nice little layer of it on there. All right, guys. So here we go. Woohoo.
The things we do for ratings, right? You know what we should have done. You know what we should have done. We should have had a super chat challenge. $5 super chat to say do it. $5 super chat to say don't do it, and have a vote. See, missed opportunity. That's.
All right, guys. You know I'll try everything. Super chat it. I'll get it and do it on air.
No. Let's not go down that road. No. Slippery slope there, folks. Here's what we are going to do, though. Since it is 450, and since we're close to the end, we'll extend this out for a little bit. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in a link. We're going to take a break, and we're going to take your calls after the break. I'm putting the StreamYard link pinned to the chat. Those of you who would like to call into the show, you can do that while we take a break and get set up for that, and we will continue our program, an extended edition-ish, right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Delivering the multiverse since 2009. This is Sci-Fi for Me TV.
And it's a real pleasure for me as a longtime fan to be sitting here with Aaron Gray. Here with Larry Hama.
We're talking with Kevin J. Anderson, best-selling author.
Mr. Neil Adams.
I am here with David Prince. Axel Alonso, editor.
Fan Days and Dallas Comic Con with John Delancey.
With Tom King.
Kevin Conroy.
Free comic book
Denise
day.
Crosby.
McKenna Talley here on location at Star Wars
We're at Sci-Fi
Celebration.
Expo talking for our second time with Gil Gerard.
Wichita, Kansas at Time Eddie.
Producer David Gerald.
I've got Eric Flint.
Are here at Smallville Comic Con.
Wizard World St. Louis.
GlitchCon in Bentonville, Arkansas. WorldCon 74. We are talking with Alan Dean Foster. We are talking.
Author Charlene Harris.
Quincy Allen.
Suzanne Lambert.
Len Wein.
Chris Sami.
Ashley Eckstein. Mano Incarami. Jason Aaron.
This is Sci-Fi for Me, your portal to the science fiction multiverse. Thanks for watching Sci-Fi for Me TV. Be sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our channels so you don't miss our next broadcast. You're watching Sci-Fi for Me TV, delivering the multiverse since 2009.
back live from the bunker. Jason Hutt here, along with all of you in the chat. We are live. As I go through things, we're refreshing some graphics and whatnot, and see what happens. But yeah, I want to just let people know we're still here. What are you laughing about over there now?
I had someone on another little channel here make comment over what I just ate.
I could have some comments over what you just ate, but I'm not gonna. Snob sounds like you're starting an OnlyFans. We've actually debated whether or not to do a
For the dog.
an office dog OnlyFans, but you know what it would consist of? It would be sleeping video. I mean, it's just him.
Yes, but he has a way
that-
of flipping up and showing the world.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, we could do photographs.
the money would
we
be
could do
worth
video.
it there.
I don't
For some
know.
dogs.
I don't know. That's the way it goes. All right, so here we are, 450 and counting. I think we may do something special for 500. I mean, 500's kind of a big deal, and it would give me an excuse to use that Harry Mudd clip from Mudd from the episode of Star Trek where he says, "Number 500." I'm waiting for that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. And yeah. What about you? Said anybody else would be locked up for some of the stuff that Ezra Miller has done, and certainly there have been charges as reported. We've got people saying that charges have been leveled against him. So at some point he's going to have to face the music. He has to. At least we hope so. But yeah, I'm all for he's clearly demonstrated that he's got some mental issues there, and he should get help. I'm glad that he's getting help. I hope that he gets help. It's certainly better than the outcome that I was anticipating. I figured that he would be assuming room temperature by now. It's good that he's not. I'm glad that he's not.
Hopefully it's just not lip service.
Well,
And that's the way a lot of this ends up sometimes being. It's lip service, and he'll never pay for what he did or does.
maybe.
Look, it's Hollywood. They never do.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's like Alec Baldwin. I never pulled the trigger.
But at the same time, for every Alec Baldwin, you've got a Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith is suffering consequences for the slap still. So who knows? Maybe there are consequences for some stuff. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It just it's different day, different argument. Who knows what's going to happen? Right?
Well, speaking of consequences, I did eat this, as everybody saw here. And I have to say, I could see where it could work. However, the chocolate is a little overwhelming, and maybe a spicier meat would throw in a little bit. No different than having some of your chocolates or truffles that have peppers in it or something. I mean, I love a spicy chocolate like that. So maybe if it was a spicier piece of meat on the inside, this could work because you got that sweet and spicy. However, unfortunately, with what I ate, the chocolate is just a little too overwhelming.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I got into like the second bite that I started actually tasting any of the pepperoni.
All right.
So
Well,
there's possible hope.
Speaking of sweet and spicy, we have our
Want
first
to talk more
caller.
about me?
Sci-fi Snob is joining us in the call. Welcome, sir. How you doing? It's been a while. Great. Hang on.
Oh wait, I should unmute myself.
There it is. It's on your end. I see how it is. There we go.
Yeah.
Weasels.
How are you?
Good. And I don't know. Sounds like you're gonna start an OnlyFans there with this eating,
No.
paying people to do things online. That's might not want to go
No.
down that road.
No, I don't. I definitely do not want to go down that road.
Wasn't
I've
there
seen-
someone who did that with like pickle or something? You sent it to me.
Make a lot of money though.
We wouldn't, because
Pickles and peanut butter?
Nothing else that we've done has made us anybody, so I don't know. Christopher Hoffman's asking about Oreo and chorizo.
Ooh.
Chorizo's a little more spicy.
My chorizo is
Might be
frozen
better.
right now, so I can unthaw it. Sorry, I just put something in my mouth.
Yes, yes, you did. All right, I'm going to turn your microphone off for now. All right, so Snob, how are things going with you up in the Great White North up there?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We had our first snowfall last week, so things are starting to get to winter. So, yeah, battening down the hatches and everything.
Yeah. So you and I have been talking.
I'm kidding. We're not that far north.
Well, I mean, global warming, right?
Yeah, global warming. Yeah. We're not that far north, so.
And you and I
No,
have
it's
been
been
talking.
pretty boring up here.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about having you at Edmonton Expo to cover that. Are you doing any coverage of any of this stuff over on your channel? What are you talking about over there? Because I haven't looked at that in a while.
Not yet. I'm looking to fire things up again, but I got to be careful because of the government. So they're always after me.
Yeah.
The government, the various those various groups that are always trying to, find the time travelers. They're a real pain in the butt. So you got to be careful. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about doing some little comments back on talking about various shows that are going on. I've been watching Sandman recently.
Yeah. How is that going?
I'm,
I've seen mixed reviews of that.
It's pretty good. I got another 2 more episodes to finish it off. There's 11. The casting's pretty good. I tried reading the comic book when it first came out, and I couldn't get through it. So I can't remember. It was a couple years ago. I can't remember why I couldn't get through it, but maybe it was a bit slow. But the show seems to be moving pretty good. So far, it looks like there's it's sort of 2 with this 11 episode arc. It looks like it's about sort of 2 separate stories, like not separate, but there seems to be the first plot. No, one plot, but the first 4 or 5 episodes sort of finish off a plot.
I got you.
And the second one looked like they're going to finish off another plot. So the first, the Sandman, he starts out, gets captured, he's lost his tools of his trade, and then he resolves that issue, and now he's got another, I don't want to give too much away, another issue to resolve. But, I'm a fan of I wouldn't necessarily call it a cult, but the sort of the religious stories, things that use, angels and demons, the other worlds,
right,
that kind of thing. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's worth watching. If you're interested in that sort of thing. The guy playing the Sandman, I don't know his name. He looks like the Sandman. He's really white and skinny, and he looks like you'd think the Sandman would look.
Yeah, the physicality of that particular character, I think they got as close as they're going to be able to get. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about Death being race swapped, but you're coming at it having not read the books, so you don't have that frame of reference.
That's true. Yeah, so, Death is she's in there's sort of one episode that's dedicated to her. She's a black woman. I don't really, doesn't really bother me. Death is played as she's what she's trying to do is she says that people need a friendly face when they die, and she provides that. So that's it's just about it's about a 1 episode situation where the Sandman is he's lost his, I don't want to say mojo, but he's kind of like, it's after he escapes and he's kind of, what's going on? I'm kind of like, he had a purpose trying to get his tools back. He gets his tools back, so now he's a little bit listless and trying to figure out what to do because he spent like 100 years captured, sitting there doing nothing. So she kind of helps him out, getting him back on track. But also we see how she operates. I didn't, there's a lot of the characters in it are unusual. They're not normal people. They are all people who are short and different in different ways. But you would think that these people aren't real people anyway, so they would be weird looking. I think this is a good place if you want to put in weird looking, ugly. No, I'm not saying they're ugly, but this is a good chance
Not
to put in your ugly,
conventionally
unconventional
attractive.
people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good spot for them, and they fit into the story. So, yeah, I didn't have a problem with her. But like I said, it's only about one episode that she's involved so far. Anyway, there's a bigger plot. They're leading up to a bigger plot, obviously. And again, like I haven't read it, but they're leading up to a bigger plot with desire and despair, which are two of Dream's siblings, right? Death, desire, despair, and dream are the four. I understand.
Yeah.
So they're leading up to another plot with that, obviously, for a second season. It seems to me. So I'm assuming they're gonna, in the next 2 episodes, they're gonna sort out the problem they're having right now with a dream vortex, and then after that they'll be, they'll get into more in another season if it goes to that. But yeah, I would recommend it. It was pretty good. It's pretty good so far. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to put your channel in the chat because you need to get back on the horse and start making some videos again.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, here it is. 9 months is according to this the last time you put a video out. So get cracking, sir.
That's about right. Oh, geez, I'm feeling all now. I'm feeling all pressure. Oh.
Of course, we could run
now.
Put $5 in the super chat to tell Snob not to do a video.
That's kind of That's
$10 to change the avatar. No, who knows? I mean, you could run all those things.
That's a picture of. Well, that's not a picture of me, but I happen
Right.
to look exactly like that. But that's not my picture. But
there you go.
Yeah, I look exactly like that.
Well, maybe we can get it. Right now, I see 303 subscribers. Let's see if we can get that up to 325 in the next few.
300. Wow, that's been it's been going up.
Your numbers have been going up. See, and you haven't
I
even
told
been
you this
paying
before.
attention.
You don't put anything in there, and then people come and right. The less you put up, I'm going to race the whole channel, and I'll probably have a billion subscribers.
That's how that works, isn't it? All right, sir. Well, thanks very much for stopping in, and I do appreciate you being in here in the chat and leaving your comments and your singular wit in the conversations. It's always good to have you around.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Cool. All right. And the chat is, the StreamYard thing is there. The link is there for anybody who wants to be in the show. We're just past our regular hour, but we're gonna keep going here for just a little bit. Robert says Snob is actually the minister of silly walks. I guess maybe. Who knows? We'll see. So, I've never seen Snob walk. I've not met Snob. I don't know if he does a silly walk or not. Possibly. Y'all should go subscribe to his channel and request a silly walk video. That could be how he returns to his YouTube channel, with a silly walk video. That's what we do here, right? All right. Also, we got a new caller and somebody else coming to the stream. Cam1138, who doesn't have an avatar, doesn't have a camera, doesn't have any kind of a picture. Mystery man. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Cam?
Good. I just wanted to pop in and just say that I appreciate you guys and all the shows you do. I think you guys make some really high quality stuff, and I hope to see you grow further.
I appreciate that. I really do. I see you in the chat and the conversations a number of times, and it's always good to have you with us as well, because I'm glad to have people come back because I guess it is, it does reinforce that we're kind of doing something that people like, but it's always nice to hear that. It's very gracious of you to say. So what? Oh, Mrs. Boss wants to say something.
Well, and it's one of those things that when we do talk about our shows, that I do point out that I like that, yeah, we may not have, 100 people in our chat, but we have those who always come back and bring great conversation every time. It's a guarantee that we know that when we come in, we're going to have y'all with us.
Yep.
And it's going to be good. And so, yeah.
Well, I like also the fact that there's not just the interaction with us, but with each other. So you have all of you guys talking to each other in the chat as well as talking to us, because that kind of interaction, that kind of networking, especially for those of you who are creators of things. I see Hex Allen in the chat. He's making comic books. So if you have those kind of interactions, that kind of networking, that kind of discussion with other people, that just builds on your ability to reach more people with your particular endeavor, your creative project. So it's always good to have that as well. So Cam, I'm glad to have you with us. It's always good to have you as part of the conversation. We'll hope you stick around and spread the word. So, are you creating anything? Are you an indie anything?
No, I'm not. I'm the opposite of a creative person. I'm a technical person.
A tech person. Okay. What do you do, or should I ask? Is it
beat the
top
weasels?
secret?
Beat the weasels.
I'm an engineer.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, again, it's always good to have you around. I do appreciate you stopping in and saying nice things about us. It's nice to get an ego stroke every now and again.
Very good.
Okay, so there is Cam1138. Now, we talked about Hex Allen. Hex Allen joins us. Hex Allen Comics. Welcome, sir. How's it going?
Oh, howdy. Good to be here.
Speaking of which, Mrs. Boss, if you could look and get the link to our interview with him, and we pop that in the chat so people can see, because we've talked about your comic book projects. So how are things going?
Oh, great. Actually, the first comic, this one right here, it's going to print. I'm expected to pick up the print run this Friday.
Very cool.
Nephilim Squadron. Mind-bending sci-fi action.
Now, is that?
Hey.
Somebody's excited about that book.
No, it's a squirrel.
Is that what stock paper is that printed on? That looks like it's pretty heavy stock all the way through.
Yeah, this is heavier stock, but the final print is going to be on a more smoother stock. I forget what it's called, but it'll allow it to be to lay flatter.
Okay.
And eventually these do get flatter, but this is just like so hot off the press. It's like,
yeah,
got a little gap in the middle. But
Cam's asking, where is that available? Are you still funding?
Yeah, well, yeah. Currently the one that's funding now is the color graphic novel. It's thicker than this. This one was I campaigned and closed the campaign last year, and I'm finally fulfilling. This is just a preview of the special preview edition of the 80-page graphic novel, and that's on Indiegogo. It's the same name, but it's called Volume 1, Nephilim Squadron Volume 1. This is Chapter 1.
All right, let me pull that up here because there is.
And I just want to let you know that well, you probably already know that this channel, you guys are criminally underwatched, I think. I don't know. Do you guys? I haven't really follow your views. Do you? I think you just deserve a lot more than what a lot more recognition for what you guys do.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we average, depending on the show, depending on which program it is that we're talking about, we average anywhere from 20 to 50 views per video, maybe. I mean, it'd be nice to have a couple 2, 3 zeros after that, but it goes back to what we've talked about before. Charlie Daniels' autobiography was "Never Look at the Empty Seats," and we could sit here and we could jaw all we want and commiserate all we want about how all of these people are everywhere else and not enough people are coming over here, but that takes away from the people who are showing up, people who keep coming back and do appreciate what we're doing here. So we're always glad to have you, and that's what we focus on.
Yeah,
so,
you just got to keep on trucking.
I guess so. We're in year 13 and a half of our 15-year overnight success program. That's how I describe it. So that's where we are. So.
I know. That's what I'm doing. I'm on that plan.
Now, Cam has put the link to the current program, the current campaign. It is in demand. Do you have a deadline? Do you have an end date when you're going to take it out of in demand for this? When do you stop taking orders?
Well, originally I was going to end it at the beginning of next year, but I'm going to probably extend it a little past that, past the maybe a few months after, into the next year, and then I'll close it down.
All right, because you got to get working on volume 2, right?
No, I haven't started volume 2. I was thinking of doing something else in between, maybe like a superhero sort of thing, a one-shot sort of smaller project, just to give myself a breather and show everyone that I'm not just the Nephilim Squadron guy.
Sure. Well, what kind of response have you been getting on this one so far? I mean, you got fully funded, right?
Yeah, it's fully funded, and I just have to finish volume 1. It's more than halfway done, but it's going to. I'm thinking probably shipping next year. It was originally it was going to be October, but with doing the fulfillment for this one I want to make sure everything goes right, so I want to take my time with it, and then I don't want to start shipping the volume 1 around holiday time, because that's it's a cluster F. But
oh yeah, that's
so I'm gonna wait till like after next year to focus on.
Robert in the chat says that if you're interested, Star-Crossed Comics, formerly the Tribulation Task Force, is looking for writers, artists, and creatives to work on their comic line. So maybe that's another possibility there that you can explore while you're waiting for Nephilim number 2. So all right, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me jump on here.
Thanks for being in here, and good luck with everything, and congratulations on getting your proof from the printer, and can't wait to see what the actual books look like. That'll look good.
It's like having a baby.
Right.
Well, men can get pregnant now these days, right? So it's
birthing persons. That's all right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mel. Have a good day. All right. Talk to you later. All right. So it's one of those things, and that is something that we've talked about before. The fact that we have regulars in our audience. We have people that keep coming back, and you guys are the reason that we're here. You're the reason that we keep doing this, even if it's just 15, 20 people. I mean, right now YouTube is showing that I've got 13 people watching this video. And we have people that'll listen to this as a podcast. We'll get, 30 or 40, 50 downloads, depending on what the topic is, which show it is. And it's, it's not a huge number. It's not a lot of people, but that's okay. You know, we're not doing this for. I mean, okay. If I'm Snob says, we're the reason I keep wasting my time. I don't see it as a waste of time. There have been moments of frustration. I'll admit that, sure. I mean, that's just how it is. But I remind myself that you guys do keep coming back for whatever reason. So we got to be doing something right. And eventually, yes, I would love to be making enough money that I could pay the staff and we could actually start to grow this thing and become this media juggernaut. But at the same time, I look at people like George Lucas, and George Lucas's career is kind of a cautionary tale. Be very careful what you wish for, because you could very well become the thing you try to fight. You know, you die a hero or live long enough to be the villain, right? And you look at some of these other channels that are blowing up, they're getting all of this stuff, but at the same time, they get dragged into all of this drama from all quarters. It's not just, you know, Comicsgate versus anti-Comicsgate or anything else. It's everybody digging on everybody. You know, it's crabs in a bucket. And I just don't want to do that kind of thing. And yes, I do have plenty of time. I got lots of clocks in the background. That's London to Sydney in that row, all those clocks back there, because, you know, news, right? This is the newsroom or of sorts. This is the studio where we do the news. Speaking of which, that's a good chance for me to pimp out our news. Saturday morning, Good Morning Multiverse, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central. It's live. It generally runs about 2 hours, and we pack in lots of headlines from the week: science fiction, fantasy, horror, video games, comic books, movies, TV, books, all of that covered in those 2 hours, including events and weather forecast for events coming up. Mindy is always working on that events list. We adjusted the number the other day. You said it was where we're at now?
Well, unfortunately, because I have been going through to verify that everything we have is active, our full count as of right now for the list is about, what did I say it was? 24. It was 2460-ish. I'm pulling it up now. But at the same time, on the other side, because I have been going through, and I'm only in the G's right now, but the ones that are on my other list that I'm going through, we're at 2465.
Okay.
The other list that I am going through, we have over 1,000 events that I can guarantee have been active in some way, shape, or form.
No.
So either they've had an event this last year during 2022, or they have one that's scheduled for 23, or their social media, they may have not had an event this year, or, you know, they're still trying to figure out how to come back from, you know, being shut down, but their social media is active. And the people who run the conventions are active on there. So I'll take that over, you know, a Facebook or a Twitter page that hasn't seen anything since 2020.
Right.
Because, you know, just let us know you're alive and that you're thinking of things still. And so, you know, I try to do my homework a little bit and do some digging before I just scratch it off. Because that's not fair to them if we have, you know, people looking at our list. But at the same time, if they're not there, then they shouldn't be on my list either.
Yeah. Well, and I got to digging through and deleting a bunch of stuff off of my phone the other day, and I have a number of screen captures of various different events that we still haven't gone through any of that stuff. So probably what I'm going to end up doing just to save everybody some time and hassle, I'm probably going to just write down that list instead of sending you all those screenshots, because there's, I don't know, 100 of them or so. But yeah, we'll go through it and make sure that all of those are on the list too. So.
Well, and the nice thing is as I am going through these, like I said, I've got over 1,000 now. The calendar is filling up. And I'm not talking about just the last few months of the year that we have here. I'm talking about next year. 2023 is,
which is good,
filling up. So, for everybody who has been, wanting to get back into the convention scene or anything like that, you are definitely going to be able to have your chance. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And if you go over to our .com, let me pull that up here to show people where they can find us and where they can find that list. Because if you go over to our let me see, pop that, and if you go over to our .com, so sci-fi4me.com, and click on the events tab at the top. Wait.
Convention list.
Well, why do we have an events and a convention list button? Who did that?
You're the one that does this stuff. I just do what I need to do.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I got it. I know what that is. That's a category specific for news articles related to events. Okay, so that's what it is. So the convention list tab, click on the convention list tab, and you will find on the .com, you will find an events calendar. This is a Google Calendar embedded in the page. All of those are events. Those are Comic Cons of some sort, horror conventions, science fiction conventions, cosplay conventions, anime conventions. All of those are listed here.
And it is all color coordinated. So, if you're looking specifically for, horror, look for that color. So it's easier to go through.
And then the alphabetical list that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I mean, this is a very long list. Like Mindy said, we've got 2,465 currently. And these are not just the corporate things. These are these are library events. These are school activities. These are, the one conference room and the hotel conventions. Any of that stuff. We're listing all of them. And horror is, I believe, orange. Is it not?
Well, I know what it is when I go on Google, but
it's
a little
orange,
different on
It's orange
this.
in this. It's orange in this screen. Purple is, red is the virtual, green is the science fiction non-horror conventions, and orange is horror. So that's...
And if it's a virtual horror, it's not red, it's another color. But
yeah, let me see.
It's been a minute since we've had a virtual horror convention. They've embraced the plague.
Yeah, so I mean we've got quite a few. I mean, this is March of 2023 right here. This is April. So like Mindy said, the calendar is filling up as we get to this. Now the other thing too is we're also looking at getting back to events ourselves. And yeah, Synopsis live conventions are coming back, and it's, we want to get out to various different events, and we want to broadcast from the floor like we did at Worldcon, like we did at Planet Comic Con. And that takes resources. Not just the convention sitting there saying, well, yeah, you can have a booth space, we'll give you the power and we'll give you internet. But, there's travel expenses and there's accommodations and getting there and paying for food and making sure that everybody can
and lots of Tylenol.
So, lots of Tylenol, lots of ibuprofen. I imagine that I'll probably need to take the electric heating blanket with me the next time we do one of these things, because it does take a lot. And we love doing it. It was going to be lozenges. it was going to be our new model. That was going to be the thing, because when we did Worldcon and then we did Planet, we had people asking us, is this going to be the new thing that you guys do from now on? Because it's very similar to the political conventions or the sporting events. You have the anchors in the booth, as it were, and then you have the reporters that are out there on the floor, and getting all the different interviews and doing reports on what got done at the panels, and showing off all the cosplay and doing all of this stuff. We very much want to be integrated into that kind of thing, where we're part of that online presence that these events have. And a lot of them have come to realize that they need that kind of thing, that element, that part of their event now, especially, coming out of lockdown. They realize how useful a tool it is to do things online. Now, you're not getting the exact same programming, but there's no reason why you can't broadcast the cosplay contest from your event. There's no reason why you can't have interviews with the organizers of the event, the authors that are there, the artists and the writers, the illustrators, all the creators that are there. All of that stuff needs to be done, and it needs to be done by people who know what they're doing. As much as I can appreciate the effort by some people, there are some people who don't have the skill set to be doing this kind of thing with online convention programming. I'm looking at you, San Diego. But that's when you partner up with a media partner like us, or Sci-Fi Wire was doing it for a while with Reed Pop, and you have people who are trained and who have the skills, the broadcasting credentials to do this sort of thing. And we bring in all of our gear, and we can do this kind of thing for these events. So if you know people who organize events, or if you organize events, if you're part of that process, if you are in the programming, or if you're a volunteer at an event, throw our name out there, because I would like nothing more than to be able to go and broadcast from a convention every month, if we can. But it's going to take resources. It's going to take not just the event saying that we can come in, but also being able to pay for it. So there's that. All right. So on that note, Cam's got a good point. It'd be great to see some top-notch promotion of smaller cons to provide alternates for the big events. And yeah, and that's another thing that I would like to do too. If we partner up with some of these smaller conventions, like Smallville Con, for example, or Eville down in Evansville, Indiana, the smaller conventions might be a little bit more amenable to having us come in to do this kind of thing. I mean, you've got the big corporate ones like Reed Pop and Creation, and we've talked about it. We've kicked around the ideas, and they're like, and then they don't. So, and then coming up after September, we'll have a conversation with Dragon Con, because I would love to get down to Dragon Con and do this. So, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, you never say never. Never count your chickens before they hatch. So, that's just gonna have to. It's just gonna have to be doing it. So Dave says, a great 450th show. Thanks for making me a regular viewer. Well, thanks for being a regular viewer. We do appreciate it. And for those of you who do want to connect with us on the socials, we're on all of those. We're on 4 different video platforms if you want to connect with us over there. I did mention the money. We've got a couple of different ways that you could support us that way if you want to. There's no obligation to. And very, very soon, there might not be a way to do that. PayPal could be shutting down a couple of different options for us, because they're changing their rules in September. So if you're going to send us money by PayPal, you better get it done first, soon. I don't know. But you don't have to. Don't have to. Nobody has to. I make that clear. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget, out there now in the ether space, our discussion in the Ranker Pit dropped last night. We had a new Star Wars discussion, so you can check that out. And then, of course, we've got Good Morning Multiverse on Saturday. And coming up on Friday, I should do it on Monday, so I have the alliteration, with the Media Kit Monday. But we're going to do Media Kit Friday. Any of you who are independent creators, I am going to draw from my 34 years of experience in media, news, journalism, broadcast, advertising, marketing, all of that stuff. I'm going to pull from all of those 34 years, and I'm going to give you a primer on things you need to have in your media kit when you're promoting your project. If you've got a comic book, you've got a novel, you've got a video game, you've got a board game, you've got a short film, you've got a feature film, anything that you're doing is a creative endeavor. You need to be able to promote it and market it, and that involves having some material available for people who want to cover it. So your media kit, the stuff what you send out to the press, we're going to go over that, some things that you need to have to be able to hand it to somebody and say, here's my stuff, here's about this project, here it is, and it's consistent, and you can just hand people the same thing over and over. You're not having to repeat yourself and reinvent it every time. It's a fixed package that you can send to the media who's covering your stuff. So we're going to talk media kits on Friday on this show, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. And then we'll see what happens next week. I don't know. As we crawl to 500, thanks very much for being a part of this one. We do appreciate all of you being here. Remember, there are 4 lights.
Thanks for watching Sci-Fi for Me TV. Copyright 2022 by Flaming Dog Media, LLC. All rights reserved. No portion of this program may be retransmitted without the express written consent of Flaming Dog Media. You're watching Sci-Fi for Me TV, delivering the multiverse since 2009.